We're live. Welcome. Welcome to the Money GPS Live. Thank you all for being here today. Let's do this. I'm just setting everything up on my end. Okay. All right, let's get her going. Hope everyone's having a good one. It's been a few days. All right. There we go. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. We've got already 77 people in the house. I didn't do one. I've been doing one Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And this time around, I've decided for the foreseeable future, I think we're going to do just the Saturday and the Sunday. So it might go down to a 2-day schedule for the time being. When I do something, I commit to it, as you know. My videos, my daily videos, I do a video every day. I don't do it. Sometimes I do it. If I'm doing it, it's going to be scheduled. So that's the way I like it. Hello, everybody. All right. Press the like. Bahamas in the house. Love that. Love that, Bahamas. Good evening. Need a lot of that truth. Yes. Bahamas. I'd love to go there. Not allowed to leave. Not allowed to leave at this time, but as soon as I can allowed, if you understand what I'm saying, that would be good. Hello, everybody on Instagram. Stocking up on food, water, and coffee. Yeah, you got to get that coffee. I just had an espresso, actually. There's something about... I don't like coffee. I really dislike a coffee. If this makes any sense to everybody watching. But an espresso, it's tough. It's tough not to say that's fantastic. What's up, everybody? Who loves espresso? Espresso over coffee or coffee over espresso? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about that. 100 people in the house, by the way. 53 likes. Thank you all for being here. What is really happening in your opinion? Okay, so we're talking about hyperinflation. You need the right coffee. Okay, I agree with that. What's really happening? Okay, let's talk about this for a second, okay? What is happening right now? I personally believe that the more funny money you throw into the system, you create an actual deflation, okay? Because all of that which we're seeing today is false. So what happens here? You create this almost, it has an opposite effect. And that's probably counterintuitive. But the response after, it's like the beach ball effect. Yeah, you're pushing it down, but what happens? It rockets back up. And so I think that inevitably, unless something changes, that we are going towards heavy, heavy, heavy inflation. Does it get to hyperinflation? Some say. Some say we're going there. A lot of people are saying a lot of inflation. And some who, you could argue don't know about this stuff to begin with, like Jack Dorsey, who I can show you if I get, I'll do it after. I'll show you after my screen. I got Jack Dorsey's tweets up. He's saying that there's going to be hyperinflation. Like I said, let me see. Yo, stop. I think the word is lying. I'm not really sure. You've been saying the same stuff forever now. Huh? What? What is it? You never promoted crypto. This is going to save the normal day people. I think you should be talking about it. I don't promote anything. If you notice what's different about this channel than most of the rest, it's that I do not promote things, and I don't tell you, you know what, you gotta buy this, you gotta buy that. Because on this channel, I give people the information and they can do what they want with it. Okay? Clearly, the price of these cryptocurrencies have gone up like crazy. And I've been covering that for a while. There's no doubt about that. Look at the price of these things. I show that regularly. But it's not my job to tell you that you should buy it. Back at the Fed, I like the ship better. Maybe tomorrow we'll do the ship. I gotta get a few more backgrounds, but actually, I am. You're gonna see once you get this 3D background that's coming, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I'm so excited for that. I've been waiting like a month for this 3D background that, we'll see. Anyway, make a run for it. You got connections in the Bahamas. That's true. I truly love the fact that I can basically go anywhere in the world and I know that I've got a good person there. And that's a good feeling. And that's kind of why I love the live sessions as well, that here we unify around the truth. There's a couple silly people, as you can see in the comments, but there's so many good people out there. We just gotta weed through some of the others, Greetings from Brazil. Let me know what's going on, Brazil. Were you the one that commented, by the way? I had a few comments from people in Brazil talking about what's happening. Stock market in a bear market today. Coffee. Yeah, some people love coffee more. Coffee, since it's keto friendly. Espresso's keto friendly. Coffee, espresso, and coffee. All right. Espresso. Espresso. Don't say that. It's an espresso. Coffee. All right. In a hyperinflation, everybody will be selling their gold and silver to buy food and will be worthless because everybody will be selling. So when will it come back? If you look at the places that have very high levels of inflation, take Iran today, take Venezuela today, those who have particularly the gold and silver, even those who have Bitcoin, they're doing very well. I shouldn't say they're doing well. They're doing better than everybody else. So it depends. Is the currency completely gone? Is it, what's the situation? Of course, it depends. Depends on every single cycle is different. Every single collapse is different, but they all have certain elements that are the same. And usually it's a devaluation of the currencies and then real assets take its place. I was doing an interview with Elijah Johnson, I think his name is, from Finance and Liberty, or Liberty and Finance. And it was a panel, and the other guy was Venezuelan. And he was describing that while Bitcoin and gold were doing very well, actually I think he might have mentioned just gold, real estate did not. And he made the point that because the chaos is so bad, people were leaving the country. So they're leaving the country, they're going to Colombia, they're going to Brazil, wherever it might be. And that left a lot of empty homes. So the real estate prices declined. So it's not always linear. Okay, what happens? You could say real assets as a blanket statement, but depends. Are people leaving? Are people going to leave those things empty, those houses empty? Coffee, espresso. What should I invest my $200,000 in? Well, I can't tell you. By the way, I think that's McLovin. Looks like it's McLovin in the background. I can't tell you what to invest in. This is a question I get all the time, and I've struggled to make videos. I said I was going to make videos about this, where to invest your money and so on. I've really struggled with it because it all depends on you, your current circumstances, how old you are, what are your goals? Do you have a family? Yes or no? Do you intend on living where you are right now? Do you currently own a home? Do you want to own a home? These are the first questions I would start asking. I would also say, is this invested right now, or is that just purely cash? If you want to know me, what I would do. Let's say I had zero money invested. Okay, what would I do? $200,000, probably not enough to buy some sort of property, depending on where you are. And you're going for diversification within that. You don't just want to plant it in one place. Number one, I would start some sort of online business. No question about it. Okay, one, business. I would learn how to do swing trading. Why? Because the volatility in the markets, particularly the environment we're moving into, that's going to be a very, very powerful skill where you're going to be able to make, potentially, make a lot of money in a short period of time, whether it's up, whether it's down. Then your earnings, you take that and you pocket that. You don't keep doubling up and doubling up. You can pocket. If you're able to make profit from that, you put that away. In general, I do agree with, I think I had him here today. David Tepper. Actually, it was David Tepper. David Tepper said that he doesn't like stocks right now. He just says that the prices are just absurd. And he's not selling, but he's not putting any into it at this time. Any additional money into it, even though he thinks maybe the prices could go up higher. So that's what some are saying today. And what do we encounter, right? We have a situation like in the 1970s where early in the 70s, inflation was very helpful to stocks. Later in 70s, not so helpful. In fact, quite the opposite. So this is the concern for many. They really don't know where to put their money. What do we do? But it depends on you. It depends really on you. So I hope that was helpful at all. We've got 229 people in the house, but if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, you got to do it, all right? Right down here, somewhere there. Hit that button. I promise nothing is happening and there won't be no crash. That's cool. Thank you. I'm glad you promised it. Both coffee and espresso depends on the time of day. Yeah, some people love to sip their coffee, but the espresso is a nice pick-me-up. I just don't like the taste of coffee. I only like the taste of espresso. Hello from California. Thank you for being here. Good stuff. Is this the second time you commented that? Jack Dorsey is a puppet. Yeah, I don't mean, it doesn't matter. I honestly, I'll listen to anybody. Puppets, not puppets. I take all of that information in and I just put it in the back of my head and then I think about it later. Like I don't necessarily say, you know what, Michael Burry said this and 100% that's true. I take what he has to say and I think, okay, all right. But a lot of people, they don't do that actually. They just agree with whoever, like for example, if they're invested in Tesla, they'll just go to Cathie Wood and they'll say, well, Cathie Wood says it's going to be like this. Cathie Wood said it. And they just love Cathie Wood. Why? Because they've got a lot of money invested in what she's promoting. And of course, she has to promote it because she's investing in it. One more comment and you're gone. Please stop. GPS, among many others, has been saying that the situation is not sustainable. And look now, it has fallen apart, just like they said. If it wasn't for that, all that wisdom and time, I'd been screwed. Thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy to see how bad inflation has become today. It really is. And while you have some central banks, Bank of England, was it New Zealand, I think, that were saying, we want to increase interest rates because inflation is getting too high. And then you've got the Federal Reserve saying, what we're doing has nothing to do with interest rates. So we're not going to touch interest rates. I mean, it's a completely opposite message. But if you have the knowledge, you should be helping people. I make videos every day. What is the chance that China will save Evergrande and the like? I don't know. Let's see, the thing is for China with Evergrande, people say, they'll just bail them out. See, the problem with this is that they can't just do a straight up bailout. And the reason is that if they do so, what does that send the message to the other companies? You know how crazy things get in China. When somebody does something bad, they don't just get a slap on the wrist. Okay, there are very serious repercussions. So then this company here goes out and, you heard all about it. I mean, if you're watching the channel, I've covered it over and over again. In fact, to the point where I have some subscribers telling me that they dislike what I do now because I cover China. But the point is, what they're doing, oh, now the next company is going to do that. The next company is going to do that. And they're all just going to do that because, hey, Evergrande got away with it. And they want to send a message. They want to make it known, if you go outside of the rules, if you start bending this and that, your company is going to go under. You're going to take people with it. And, we have the shared prosperity and so on. You are basically hurting other people. Therefore, you're in trouble. So, I don't know what's happening internally there, but I could tell you that they're not making it seem like they want to bail them out. They're just telling everybody, hey, it's all good. Don't worry. They're going to pay. They're going to pay up. So maybe there's some backdoor help and this and that, and maybe they'll split the company up and they'll try to deal with it that way. Egg or the chicken first? Hyperinflation and social unrest. First of all, thank you very much for the support. The egg or the chicken? What came first? I'd probably say the chicken. Hyperinflation and social unrest. I don't know about hyperinflation. I think about this all the time. I've thought about this for a long, long time. Is it going to be a lot of inflation or is it going to be hyperinflation? And my thoughts are this. The conclusion that I've come to is this. I think that we'll get to a point where inflation is very, very bad globally. Most areas. And there's going to be a sit down between all of the world powers, the Bank for International Settlements, the IMF, and so on. And they create a new sort of reserve currency and say, look, we're going to base our currencies on this particular currency. And they just kind of revalue everything compared to that. So you have the top of the pyramid. They love their pyramids. Okay. They love their pyramids. And at the very top of that pyramid is this new, whatever it is. Maybe it's the IMF, the BIS, or maybe some new institution altogether. And then one layer down from that, you have like the central bank digital currencies. I think that could be the new hierarchy. Of course, at the time when I wrote my first book, I was writing it in 2011. So Bitcoin, not exactly very popular around that time. And the whole situation with all these other cryptos were not a factor. I didn't even conceptualize the fact that there might be a central bank digital currency. But as the years have gone on, that's been part of the theorizing that I've done. Nobody knows what's going to happen. That's for sure. Can you tell me the consequences of the Fed, Bernanke's original plan, keeping interest rates at zero forever? Yeah, it just causes chaos. The most important thing the Federal Reserve has ever published was Bernanke's speech in 2002. If you type into the search engine Bernanke speech 2002, you will find it. And the title is something like Deflation, Making Sure It Doesn't Happen, or Doesn't Happen Here, one of those. And they talk about it. He outlines exactly what they'll do. In fact, one of the things that he loved, it seemingly, was a devaluation of the currency by 40%. And that was revalued against gold at the time. But the point was, we will go as far as devaluing the currency by 40% to ensure that we don't enter a situation where there's deflation. They will do anything. They will helicopter drop money from the skies, if that means not going into a deflation. They are so worried about deflation, even though it would be very helpful to the average person, to those, let's say the bottom 50% particularly. Yeah, but that's the way that is. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Top 3 sectors to invest in for the next 5 years. I'm a little concerned about the next 5 years, but if I'm under the assumption that there's not going to be a crash, there's not going to be a crisis, the economy is going to run strong, I believe the number one place where money is going to be flowing to, regardless of whether you agree with it, whether or not, doesn't matter. Green energy. The governments are throwing money at green energy more than ever before. And the harder they push for clean energy and so on, whether it's solar panels and this and that, the harder they push for it, it just means more money. More money from the government itself, more tax incentives for the public. And that means the underlying, for instance, uranium, they consider nuclear energy to be clean energy. So uranium is getting bought up like crazy. And it's a frenzy right now. And it could be like a lumber thing. It goes straight up, and then who knows what happens tomorrow. But that's something that I think a lot of, like if we're talking about pure investment, pure speculation, then I think clean energy, whether that's solar panels and so on, is going to see a lot of money running towards it. Like I said, doesn't matter if you agree with it, whether you don't think it works, or it doesn't matter. The money's going there. Talk about the use cases more, like energy. What are we talking about here? So now I'm far. I'm going through the chat, and I'm not sure. Love the work, Money GPS. Thank you very much. Prices are too damn high. I agree. GMEM AMC. Are people still talking about that? I didn't know. Swing trade is awesome for occasional extra cash flow, but if you are a trader, follow traders' rules or get smoked. 100%. 100%. I completely agree with you. Yeah, you have to stick to your rules. And if it's like, oh, if I would have just done this, then it would have worked. So then you try, like, okay, now I'm going to do that. Oops. And then you get messed up. Oh, if I would have done that, then it would have worked. And then you try that thing, and then, every time. So you have to have a certain set of rules and apply those rules. My personal opinion is that you got to have, if you're new at it, you got to have help. Personally, I'm being mentored by Profit Market, okay? Trent from Profit Market, if you want to know about trading, technical analysis, and so on. So the Money GPS, I'm learning all this information from the pros, so that I could then bring that information to you, so I can provide a better service at the Money GPS. That's my goal. Okay. I don't know what the other guys are doing out there and what they do with their channels. I personally think that a lot of people, I won't mention any names, big channels, millions of views, their desire, number one, first and foremost, is getting the maximum amount of sales, getting the maximum amount of views. And hey, that's fine, whatever. For me, I always have thought that I should be providing the maximum amount of value to the viewer. And in doing so, then hopefully after a period of time, it would work out well for me too, because I've provided the value, and then hopefully, things work out. Financially, not a good business for me, but I'm still, like, I'm blessed to have people that they give me thumbs up. They say thank you. Like, just to hear people saying that, you constantly, I have to hear about all the, this nonsense, these people, whatever you want to call them, the haters or trolls or whatever. But seeing those, thank you for your work. Thank you. You helped me, all this stuff, that is the best thing in the world. That is the best thing in the world. And I thank everybody for that stuff. Sean, thank you for the support. New Zealand experiences the highest September quarter inflation since 1987. New Zealand government declares interest rates will rise. Yep, 100%. And it's funny, inflation rises And the central bank responds, whoa, can you believe it? The central bank didn't just pretend that it's not there. Where? Inflation, where's it? It's transitory, guys. Don't worry about it. It's transitory. It's transitory. It's transitory. It's transitory. Just keep saying it. Just keep saying it's transitory. It's transitory. As long as you just keep saying it's transitory, it's transitory. How many times could I say it before it loses all of its meaning? Seven stocks and 7 cryptos? Yeah. Gotta have that. Bitcoin just getting started. It's going crazy. Actually, I haven't... Did I have it? I don't have it open right now. In the background, I'm just opening up my charts here. What are we at right now? Bitcoin, 61,000. Yeah, Bitcoin has been, it went up to a record high, and that was not very strong. When it initially went to 62,000, then I saw it come, it was kind of fluctuating around that range. It looked a little bit weak to me. To me, it looked a little weak. And of course, this is coming after a huge run-up. Don't get me wrong. I'm just looking right here. Okay, fixing everything. Maybe we'll show that chart right now. Why not? See if I can get this going. Let me just answer a couple questions first. Here we go. Traders rules, buy the dip, LOL. Fed gonna keep the squeezing this pay. Yeah, so let's be honest. So it's all about probabilities, and because of what the Federal Reserve is doing, the higher probability for the broad market, the higher probability is that the market will go up. Fact. But things change. There are periods of time when that isn't true. 2018, that wasn't true. 2005, that wasn't true. 2017, though, very good year, right? So it depends. It all depends. But what if you could make money, potentially, every single day? Why does it have to be only when the market goes up? I get asked the question, are you short the market? And I mean, that could change it any day. If you were trying to short the market the entire time right now, you'd be bankrupt. I need Jerome Powell to give me the picks. Yeah. How big am I? I'm not sure I understand. Like 4'2". I think I'm like 4'2". I just found your channel and I'm not familiar with the main topic, but I would just throw it out there. What do you think about playing January calls for snaps since it's 26 down and earnings are on the way? So Adrian, I don't give specific advice like that. This isn't the channel for like very specific discussions, and I can't give financial advice in general. Okay, so you got to know, like, I wouldn't ask that question to anybody personally. You got to know. You got to look at what first. Like, I have something called the paratrooper trading strategy, which is like a top-down trading strategy. So I look at it like, okay, is the market easy money right now? Are we in a tightening cycle? Or are we loose? What's the situation? That's on top. Then I go down. Okay, are the general broad markets doing well? How, what direction are they moving in? Okay, they're doing very well. There's no question about it. Is that steam running out short term? Okay, I'll look at that. Then I break it down to the sector. Technology. Okay, we're going to go to technology. How is technology doing? Is it up? Is it down? What's going on? Look at the QQQ. Okay, how is that? How are other players in the technology field? So similar companies, how are they doing? How are they moving? Then I go to the particular stock. So, I don't just look at the stock like, what about this stock? I want to go every level down before I even look at the technical indicators for that particular stock. Craig, thank you very much for the support. Thank you. Thank you. Waited to cover Australia. I touch on Australia whenever I can, whenever I've got some information. 100%. Yeah. I, I touch on everything. I find that, because most of my audience is in the US, some people actually have said, do not talk about anything other than the United States. I don't care. Like I've seen messages, you'd be surprised. People are like, stuff outside the United States doesn't affect me at all, which I don't exactly understand what that means. But so I do touch on it. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and basically anywhere. I've covered information from all countries. Fairly recently, I touched on Poland. Poland's looking into buying another something like 100 tons of gold. So whenever I get information from that I believe is relevant, I definitely include it. Australia, personally, I think their best partner is China, but they're not doing so well right now. They're kind of going back and forth on that. Whether we, like that situation or not, they're a huge consumer. Australia has the resources. China wants to buy them. So as a business partner, I worry. So the reason I mention that is I worry about seeing this back and forth, or we're not going to buy Australian wine, and we're not going to buy your coal, and like whatever, because that relationship of buying and selling is good. Okay, it keeps the connection there. People don't realize, we don't want anything from that country. Look at Vietnam. There was a battle. Okay, the worst battle for many reasons that ended. And now they're a trading partner with the United States, and hey, that's so much better. Relationship is good. The relationship is good. You're better off being a trading partner, have the goods to exchange, have the services, have this and that, instead of being an adversary. That's never good. The military industrial complex is happy. We don't want that. We want to starve them. Wow. Okay, then. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that. Okay. Thank you. Maybe I misunderstood. I already did take the calls, but just asking for your opinion, not advice, because I know they giving advice is a big deal for streamers. Thank you for answering. Yeah, I would need to look at all the conditions before buying, selling, anything. Like I gotta just zone in. I gotta know all those conditions before I would be able to make an educated decision on that. Tom, thank you for coming in. I'm grateful, by the way, there have been over 7,000 in the last 30 days, over 7,000 new subscribers. I have not had growth like this. Can't even remember. It's got to be over a year. I did get quite a few earlier in 2021, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I'm just real happy to see all of the new subscribers. I've been trying to make some changes. There's more coming, more great stuff coming. Overwhelmingly, people have told me positive stuff. I really like what you've done with the channel. Fantastic, this and that. So more stuff's coming. Just wait. It's gonna be cool. Real cool. Okay, let's look at this. Gonna show you just a quick thing. Jack Dorsey. This is what he posted. Like, think about this. The guy's ahead of multiple companies. Okay, do I agree with everything the guy says? Probably not, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, he doesn't have to say something like this. And he said, hyperinflation is going to change everything. It's happening. And then down here he's replying, he says, it will happen in the US soon, and so the world. And so you could say, who cares about Jack Dorsey? I agree. Who cares about him? Who cares about any of these other people? It doesn't matter. But when I look at this, I think to myself, he's not just one person. Jeffrey Gundlach, just name it. Every like prominent economist, the real good ones, not the what's his name, Marco Kolonovich or whatever his name is, from the head quant of J.P. Morgan. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Market's going down, 2018. Market's coming down. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. You just say buy the dip all the time. When the market's coming up, in general, sure, you look real smart. But it's kind of ignorant to just always say it. But anyway, the point is, every single prominent individual saying, yeah, inflation's going to get real bad. And they're just confused. They're like, okay, what do you buy? That's really the argument, is what do you buy? And we can argue about that. The point is, it's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore the inflation now. Some people say, no, not experiencing any inflation. I just went from eating 3 meals down to 2 meals. No inflation. Like, well, that's not the same cost of living, right? You're not doing the same thing. You reduced your standard of living to then pay the same amount per month. Came here for the truth. Insider, welcome. Hyperinflation or inflation? I think the more likely is inflation. But it doesn't mean hyperinflation is not likely. I think it could happen. But it's difficult for it to happen. That's my point. What did I just clicked on something. I hope I didn't do something wrong. I accidentally clicked on something. So hopefully I didn't just ban anybody accidentally. Apologize if I did. Thank you for support, Craig. I hate to be doom and gloom, but it seems like checkmate. The Fed can inflate or they can do nothing and we deflate. Is there any mitigation? What they can do, the best thing that they can do is a very slow, methodical increase in interest rates. If this was me, I would say in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, they pick a date. We are going to start increasing interest rates by 0.1% on a monthly scheduled basis. They instruct exactly exactly what the interest is going to be at a later date. So the banks will be aware. Everything's all scheduled. It's all done. It's all done. And slowly but surely, interest rates just increase slowly. There's a slow, super slow tightening, but it is happening each and every month. And so knowing that, you're going to be able to anticipate the future, and no, there won't be any shocks to the system. But the way they do it is, we're just going to wait until it gets way, way out of control, and then we're going to have to spike interest rates up. So that's the way that they're doing it, is the crazy way. But if it was start now, don't start next year. They want to start next year. My opinion is, why not just start now? Why not start 3 months from now? Make this happen right away. Although, hey, 3 months from now would be, what month are we in? October or November? Almost not November. So yeah, we would be in January. But the point is, start earlier, start slower. They haven't increased interest rates since the financial crisis, really. There was just this brief period where they brought them up just for fun. That's the crazy thing, right? So, Jerome Powell, all right. Thank you for the support again. $2 trillion inflation area already in crypto. There's a lot of money has flown into crypto. No question. Bitcoin is still on track to hit $100,000 and could go much higher. Maybe it could. I think as long as interest rates are very low and the speculation is clearly there, then things like Bitcoin could absolutely rise. They are letting channels like you grow because they are already in position and no longer feel threatened by influencers. Most people complied with their dictates. I agree with to some degree there. I'm not sure what happened as of late, but went from going negative subscribers to actually positive. which is a surprise to me, which is great. I'm very grateful. The fact that you have to pay taxes on crypto should tell you that it's already part of the financial system. Yeah, that's why they're suggesting that they're going to ban it. They'll regulate it, they'll ban it, and so on. I really don't think so. Like, they're taxing people. And they want to. They consider it. It's funny. They say it's being used for illegal activities or whatever, and then at the same time they're, oh yeah, by the way, but if you bought it at this price and you sell it at that price, you owe us money. Like, but you just said, anyway. Jason's making some comments. I appreciate the support there. Best countries for expats without much money for an entrance fee. There are a few. So what I would recommend is just check out Nomad Capitalist. Nomad Capitalist is a good place to start. If you watch like maybe 10 videos of his, you kind of get the picture. Okay, so there are a few places, but it depends on your circumstances. Do you currently have a job? Do you need a job when you get there? Do you work online? Okay, those are the first questions. Do you have a family? Are you solo? Okay, are you looking for good health care, or are you looking more for just cheap standard of living? Because sure, you can go to a place like Malaysia if that suits you. You're not going to pay taxes. Maybe you could move to Dubai or some, Abu Dhabi. That's another place that some people are going to. You're not going to pay those taxes. You're going to have lower expenditures in general, most likely. Of course, it also depends where you're coming from. Or are you looking for like a Costa Rica where you're going to be living in the jungle and not have to deal with anything? That all depends. My personal opinion is if you're living in, a big city in Canada, US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and you're just going to switch one for the other, don't do it. I think you'll be worse off. Like, you don't go from Vancouver to New York or, London to Sydney. You're kind of going to get the same experience. So if you're going to make a jump, make sure you know exactly what's going on. Take taxes into effect. If you're a United States citizen, you move somebody somewhere else, chances are you're going to still have to pay those taxes. Some people are going from the US to Puerto Rico to save on taxes. Easy way. You don't have to give up your citizenship. It's an easy jump, easier jump. Japan, the financial, like the markets and things, I just think it's just holding onto the hot potato, or as I like to say, the stick of dynamite. It's just like, it's going down. It's like a sinking ship going down and down and down and down. And, I can get on. I know it's a slow fall. I can kind of get on and I can watch it all happen. But do you want to be? Shiba Inu. People are loving this Shiba Inu. And see, the thing is, I hope people are making money with it. But the problem is it's just really, really speculative, and it shows you where the money is going into. I mean, there's just billions and billions and billions of dollars in these things. Yeah. Thank you for the support. Belt and Road means the South China Sea lanes are useless. No, they always want more pathways in and out. They want security in the region. They want to dominate, whether that's China or whether that's somebody else, right? And so, yeah, I'm sure they would take every square inch they could. That's what empires do. That's what countries do. They usually like to sprawl out as much as they possibly can, even if it actually means their own destruction. Thank you. The Money GPS guiding you through an uncertain economy. I'm just reading your Instagram mentions here. Interest rates to rise in 2022. Yes, I think so. I really do think so, personally. What about India? India has a lot of growth potential, but there's, I think, a lot of work. I think like India's kind of, in some ways, maybe 20 years or so behind China. They need to get their stuff set up. There's a lot of products that come out of India. There's no question about that. They need to get their exports in check, making that happen. I know that they are doing this as a fact. It just takes time. Takes time. Their markets could be very good, and of course, when you have higher inflation, that could be represented in opportunities in the stock market and so on. I actually had a subscriber who was telling me, I don't know if it was India, Pakistan. I think it might have been Pakistan, but anyway, the point was he owned. So he was, I think he moved to the U.S. and he owned a parcel of land back in his hometown, and then it had agriculture on it. So that agriculture, so he buys the land. So he made money speculating in the stock market in the U.S. He took that money, put it into a real asset, which was agricultural land back in his home country, invested there, and it just produced. It just produced constantly. He's got people working on it. And then it takes that money, it's just piling up in like a family trust. So he's taking a real asset, really making use of it. And because he started with the US dollar and moving it into another place where, of course, it's going to take you a lot further, he's been just doing well. He's got the real asset there, and he's bringing in passive income. Passive income, just like that, cash flow. Cash flow. Gotta love that cash flow. China owns the port of Melbourne. Yeah, they own a lot, actually. They own a lot because they want every aspect of it taken care of. All right, we got 341 people in the house right now. We have been doing this for 48 minutes. I want to thank you for being here. There are 277 likes, meaning some people didn't hit that like button. You got to hit that like button right down there, right down there. I'll wait while the refuel happens. All right. All right. Dom, suggestions on building investment funds for my children, UK based. This is my opinion. One of the best things is real estate. If you choose a place that's in a good area and you think, it's stable, it's so on, that piece of real estate, even if it took you 30 years to pay it down, if it's a rental real estate, somebody's paying the mortgage, it has to be cash flow positive. It has to be cash flow positive, even if it's a little bit every month. You could hand it down. Now, I don't know about all the rules in the UK, but I'll tell you, you can write off depreciation on the home. So as the home is degrading the structure of the building, the government, Canada, US, and so on, capital cost allowance in Canada, I don't know the exact term in the US, depreciation essentially, they're going to allow you to write off a percentage of the property each and every year. And this is how the Kushners did this. The only reason I mention this is because there was articles written about it and so on. They literally made millions of dollars, even though they didn't pay any taxes, but they made millions of dollars because they were, it's an older property. We needed to do all the work to it. Plus depreciation is just natural event that we get like phantom, you get this phantom, what's the term? It's basically like a phantom loss to you. So therefore you can write that off. But you may have done no work to the property. Okay, and you can hand it on, hand it down, hand it down. And these very, very wealthy families, the ones that stay wealthy, generation to generation to generation, they have real estate. Some of them might be investors and this and that, but the ones that are just safe the year after year after year, generation to generations, it's usually real estate. Real estate is fantastic for that. There's pitfalls in real estate, there's problems in real estate, there's all kinds of things. But that's the one. I wouldn't even, people put money into a 401k and all that, and retirement account, your supers, whatever. Personally, for me, that makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all. You're going to buy why would you ever buy an asset? I cannot make sense of this in my head. You're going to buy an asset. Okay, I'm going to buy stocks and I'm going to put them in my 401k. And then when I'm 65 and I retire, I'm going to take from that pool. I guess if you don't have children, I guess if you had no future prospects, then that's all good, because when you're gone off the earth, who cares what happens, right? But you don't want to kill the golden goose. You're taking from the pie. Why would you take from your own pie? It makes no sense. You want an asset that just constantly gives you money. That's the way I see it. So you still have the asset, but it actually brings you money. It's true. Thank you, thank you. Would you consider yourself safe if you're in the mortgage business in the USA? Like your job, is it secure? Eventually that will be replaced by a robot. Not right now, though. Take care. Good to see you. I will hit the like button if you say Kathy Wood is the best. Oh my goodness. Well, I said it. I said it. Didn't have to agree with it. You didn't tell me I had to agree with it. What is the take-home lesson for tonight? Well, I believe that everybody, the Duke, if you're listening, the Duke, everybody right now, what are we seeing? What are we seeing? I don't know what we're going to see next year, but right now we got heavy inflation. Okay? So I think everybody's got to have some basic essentials. Just have the basic essentials. What does that mean? That means you got some rice, you got some beans, you got some lentils, you've got your food, your water, all these things are taken care of, okay? If you're able to grow food year round, do it, okay? No matter what, just do it, okay? Make that happen. You got your preparedness, a Berkey water filter, that's going to help you out big time, okay? It doesn't require power. If you can get solar panels on the roof, get the solar panels on the roof. All of these things are upfront costs, but ultimately down the road, they save you money. At the same time, for your investments, okay? You're going all growth stocks. You got to watch out. That is very, very unwise, if you ask me. You have to look at things through a different lens. We are experiencing something we haven't seen in literally decades. The average person, the average analyst, the average investor has literally never seen an increase in inflation. They've been told every time, just buy the dip. Inflation's going to go down. Interest rates are going to go down further. Always, always, always. Today is an anomaly, but don't worry, because it's only the supply chain that's the problem. Nobody wants to look at the 800-pound gorilla in the room, the elephant in the room, that is the central banks and the fiscal stimulus from all the governments around the world pumping in more money, creating more deficits than ever before in history in a very, very short period of time. Governments have never done this before. And yet we are all at the same time, all of that at the same exact time. This doesn't end well. So you as the individual, you get to choose, where do I want to put my money? I can't tell you where to put your money, but I can tell you that where you've been looking at over the past few years is probably not going to be the same place. But that doesn't mean you got to keep your money under your mattress. No, I've been telling people for the last year, hey, 7 shares of Amazon, not good. 7 2x4s, much better. And what happened? I mean, I'm not trying to, say that I said anything or anything like this. I would just point to the things that I see in the charts as well as the articles. Amazon stock was the same 1 year from summertime 2020 to summertime 2021. It was the same price. I showed that specifically. I was telling you about that. And what happened with commodities? When I said lumber or 2x4s, I wasn't talking about lumber, even though it did go up like crazy. I'm talking about commodities. Commodities have gone berserk. Commodities have gone crazy. And did it take a genius to figure out? No, not at all. But we could see that there were some serious problems and there's speculation behind it. Those two things will light a fire up under the behind of any of these particular assets. So there's gambling, speculating, all this stuff that goes on and takes advantage of a particular situation. And that situation isn't over yet. So commodities could absolutely continue to rise. Which ones? Well, you could just buy an ETF that gives you the broad, sort of broad exposure to different, maybe you want one that's, purely based on agriculture, or some would do so based on the, a general index. I can't tell you what to get, and I can't tell you what you think is right or not. I mean, are we at a peak? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. Certainly doesn't seem like it with the way that things are going. Look at what's happening with oil. Oil was once at $150 a barrel, almost $150 a barrel. Today it's at what, 80, 85, something like this. It's nowhere near what it was before. And after all of this, so the potential is much higher. Just in that respect, you got to look at the technicals. You have to understand what's happening with OPEC plus and all this. But just in general. Thank you. Stock up in your Botox and Xanax, otherwise it's going to get ugly, literally. Yeah. That's the funny thing. I wonder how those stockpiles are doing, because everything seems to be running out. And if you start to see people's face getting all droopy, maybe they ran out of that too. I haven't seen any articles about it. Thank you, Lester. Will Tesla tank hard? One of the things I found interesting about Tesla was they claim, aren't being affected by the supply chain crisis. And that's part of the reason why you're seeing other car companies not doing well and Tesla doing well. At the same time, we have a lot of speculation. It's one of the most speculated on companies in the world. A lot of the shorts are gone. There's no more shorting. At one time, it was the most shorted stock. Now that is not the case. So that's another factor. But I think that at some point it's probably going to do quite poor. But along with everything else, it's done very, very well. There's no question about it. It's a stock that I wouldn't want to ever short personally, or wouldn't buy puts on, just because there's any of these, like, it's better to play with boring stocks. It's always better to play with boring stocks, because you don't want some tweet that comes out from Elon Musk that he, I don't know, he passed gas or something, and now suddenly the stock comes up by 50%. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens. I don't want to touch anything that's like that, because it's just so volatile. I just don't want to touch it. Instagram, this is about to shut down in 1 minute from now. So Instagram, somebody just joined. This is about to shut down in 50 seconds from now. As soon as it does, I will restart it again, all right? And we're going to go for about 20 more minutes. All right. I'm Uber Eats while listening. Nice. Gas is $3.09 in Alabama. Yeah, all right. I'll talk about that in a second. Instagram, this is shutting down. I'll come back. I'll come back right away. Okay, I'm going to stop this and come back. This is a silly thing that happens on Instagram. Takes me off my flow. Some areas it is just extremely high. Other areas more reasonable, but ultimately, it's certainly more expensive than it was, and that just eats into people's ability. Now, I see the comments. I see this all the time. Look at the GDP numbers. Look at the sales numbers. Look. If your your food, housing, energy, whatever, all of these things cost more, what happens to the GDP? Yeah, it goes up because you have to spend more. But it's not necessarily a good thing, right? It's not good for the consumer that suddenly has to pay twice as much for his gas. That doesn't help him. It helps the company that are providing the gas. The refineries, the oil companies, and all this stuff. That's the way I look at it. Now, if I got to pay twice as much gas, let's just say, I don't know, $100 at the end of the month, that $100 could have went into, I don't know, maybe I went to the movies, maybe I went to the restaurant, maybe wherever. So I think it's not a good thing. Last recession, 2008, one generation have never experienced a recession. That is correct. Some people have just never seen it. So, of course, they can't believe it. Thank you very much. Line 5 pipeline was shut down. Keystone to open. They shut it down. I mean, they didn't want it to happen. There's different reasons for that and so on. It's political, this and that. But I think for a lot of people, they just need to realize how devastating the prices can get. And it's like the government comes in and what are they going to do? Are they going to control the price of the oil? Is that what's going to happen? Are they ever going to be able to let it go? As soon as the government steps in and starts putting price controls and all these different factors in and starts putting blanket statements, that creates problems. It always destabilizes everything. Always. It's, like you see in the old cartoons where they go to plug up one of the holes on the boat and then another one pops up in this corner. And then they go to plug that one up and then it pops up in this corner. You can't. You can't fix anything like that. $332 for premium in North Texas. $479 in Fresno. Fresno is an interesting place, by the way. One of the highest, was it rent or was it real estate? I think it was rent prices increased faster than anywhere in the United States. Of course, prices were much lower before, but still. Hey, GPS, I have some valuable musical equipment. Is now a good time to cash out? This is my opinion. If you want to sell it anyway, you certainly could. Depends on where you're going to put your money now. Do you have a place that you're going to put it into another investment, or are you just going to keep it in cash? I don't think cash is the right place. That's my opinion again. And also, right now, people have a lot of disposable income. Some people have a lot of disposable income for this kind of stuff. So if you could take it and convert it to something that you think is also going to do well, then you can get your top dollar right now. Just like when we see all the, their Pokemon cards and collectible things. If you take the money out and you put it into something what you deem is a little bit less risky or a little bit less speculative, you shouldn't be upset if if I just would have hung on to it, it would have went even higher. Did you make profit? The answer is yes. You should be happy with that. That's the way I look at it. expecting oil prices to go higher. I don't know if you were here just a little while ago. I can't predict the future. I can't give financial advice. I'm looking at the commodities. Commodities are going up. They keep going up. There doesn't seem to be any stopping it until interest rates rise or we have some sort of protracted downturn. We have a recession. Some people actually say, I've seen 2 reports now claiming that we are currently in a recession. I should say the United States specifically in a recession. That's more accurate. What happens to the real estate market in high inflation? So generally, the prices would go up. Generally. However, Venezuela situation, I talked about this a little while ago earlier in this one, basically saying that because people were leaving the country, that actually pushed, so you have a hyperinflation, prices of everything are going up, but real estate prices went down because people are leaving. And that could happen locally too. Doesn't need to be a nationwide thing. Let's just say Detroit, okay, you could see bad things happen in Detroit. Oh no, here we go. Prices of the real estate going down, but other places it could go up too. So it doesn't necessarily matter in that aspect, but anyway. Gas taxes, yeah. Of course, it doesn't resolve anything. Kathy Wood said Tesla will go to 3,000. Why only 3,000? Why not 100,000? It's a pretty low estimate. What are some of the key indicators that you're monitoring closely? I love to look at, so we're talking about technical analysis or we're talking about just in general? I look at the interest rates. I think that's the most important thing. Interest rates, money printing, unquestionably. And as they stay low, prices can go up. If they start to bring up interest rates, which some countries are starting to do, starting to see a little bit, and that's important. When I look at indicators in terms of stock market indicators, whether that's ETFs or whether that's the broad markets and so on, I love to look at the stock RSI, stochastic RSI. Tell us about Bitcoin, please. I don't have anything to add to the situation. I wish that it was actually used and not speculated on. Personally, I wish the price was much, much lower. If you want the utility of something like a Bitcoin, the price has to be lower. There's way too much speculation going on right now in it, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy. I mean, the initial, like most people, they don't like Bitcoin. Most people invested in Bitcoin, they don't like Bitcoin. They like the price of Bitcoin. If you read the original Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, it's talking about basically doing away with the financial institutions. And the financial institutions could use some serious competition. That would be great. But now today, it's just like, okay, who cares what the crypto does? Let's just see the price go up. And that's not good. Who cares about the price going up? It's all about the utility. We need things that challenge the financial system. That's where the attention needs to go. Not into building more mining rigs, not into whatever. We need people working on the systems, making it available to people, making it more user-friendly, making it adaptable, making it able to be paid for with your phone easily, just one tap, whatever it takes, just to have a system that challenges the current one. That's all. Would crypto be viable? So I hope I don't even know if you're here. Nope. We gotta do what we can. That's all. I have stock in UK land. So you have some land in the UK? Is that what you mean by that? Okay, there's a million comments here. Oh my goodness. We have 375 people in the house. Thank you for being here today. 383 likes. You got to hit that like button. Refuel in time. Evergrande made a bond payment. Yeah, if you watch my video, you would see that. I talked about that. Evergrande did make the bond payment. Offshore, 83 million or 53 million. I think so. I wonder where they got that money. Was that a little loan from the government, perhaps? American escapee millionaire beach bum on YouTube, inspired and created from 10 years of listening to the truth. Thank you, Brian. Good stuff. Happy for you. Happy for you. I like to hear that. If people are doing well and they love what they've done, that's great. I don't like to hear about people who are in unfortunate circumstances. You know, it's never a good thing. Anything new on Evergrande? I covered it in the videos more recently, essentially that they did make their bond payment, but other companies, Cynic, Fantasia, I can't remember all the names, multiple companies, essentially other property developers, they're in trouble now. So, yeah. There was a few people who are very upset about the fact that I did those videos, but I'm just going to keep doing it. If it's the truth, got to talk about it. Thank you again for the support. Tuition lower in price / cost or educators haircut. Are you saying what's going to happen? My prediction of what's going to happen, or what should be done? I personally think the price of tuition should be significantly lower, and because whenever the government gets involved in anything, they jack up the price. Okay, that's just the way it is. But this is my thoughts on education. If anybody likes this, please let me know. So I'm looking forward 20 years from now. Children that are kind of born today, 20 years from now, they're going to college, university. They're not going to see the world as it is today. They're not going to say, I'm going to go to school for 4 years or 5 years or whatever it is to get this degree so I can put this paper up on my wall and have absolutely no means of getting a job. I think it's going to look a lot different. So whether that's going to be, your typical university college system, or whether some people are just going to smarten up and they're just going to say, what do I want to accomplish here? Do I want to go into a physical trade? Okay. Or do I want to learn this particular skill? So I think it's going to be very, very specialized, much shorter, much more condensed. I think it'll be something like, I want to learn how to do AI programming because that's all the rage. Okay, assuming it is in 20 years from now. I want to be an AI programmer. So I'm going to take a course on AI programming. I don't need to do English studies. I don't need to learn about geography. I'm just going to learn AI programming. I could do it online. I could do this wherever I am in the world, and that would be accredited on a global level. And that's the end of that, okay? There's none of this nonsense where I got to buy a textbook that costs $400 and is only valid for that particular semester. If you get the old one, oh, that's not good anymore. You need the 17th edition. I mean, this is ridiculous. Anyway, so all of that I think is done. I think everything is going towards smaller things. So instead of paying $40,000 for this college education, I'm going to be able to pay $3,000 because I'm going to take this course online and I could do it at my own pace. I could study when I need to, and I'm going to have that particular skill. AI programming, maybe how to sell, how to do e-commerce, business online, whatever it is. And people are going to look at that in a different light. I don't think it's going to take 20 years, but I'm just thinking like the children who are born today, by the time we're out in that time frame where they need to choose, they're going to look at it like, this is ridiculous. Why am I going to go to this school? By then, school is going to cost $200,000 probably for the average person with all this inflation. And they're going to say, what's the point? What is the point, really? It just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot different. That's just the way I look at it. Even right now, it is. I would not look at. So if if I was a kid right now, I'm looking at. Why would you go, unless you're going to do something that's like an engineer, you're a surgeon, you're this, because that's what you love, or something that you really, really love, and you have to get an education on it for some reason. It just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially in a financial sense. Just watch the YouTube videos on YouTube and learn. There's a lot of stuff to learn. I personally, so you can do that 100%, and I do agree. You can go up a tier, which is to pay for online learning. And that sometimes gives you a much more detailed, much more specific, but yeah, you can 100% get started YouTube videos. There's no doubt. Schooling online like Udemy is a way of the future. Yeah, there's a lot of garbage on there. There's no question, but there's a lot of good stuff too. University was the biggest waste of time. Yeah, a lot of people say that. A lot of the things about university. So some people, they finished their university, they got it, they paid down the debt and everything. But they end up in a job that's temporary. And then after 5 years, maybe they went from, the low level, then they moved up to a supervisor position at their, in their department. And then they're thinking, well, the salary's better. I know people here at work. Maybe they meet somebody and this and that, and they're kind of comfortable in that environment, and they stay there. And then maybe they go to a different job within that same field, and okay. And that education had nothing to do with what they did. So that was, in a sense, a waste. That's unfortunate. Thank you, Sean. David, aka Kathy Wood, perhaps something that we agree on. Good stuff. College is overrated for a lot of people. I think, look, if you're going to become a surgeon, I would really hope that surgeon went to a good school. Okay, I hope he didn't go on YouTube and learn how to do that brain surgery. But for the most part, I don't think it has the same validity that it probably once did. Does this mean a less educated population? I think, so I think that people are definitely right now today, like I hear about these, so I don't watch television. If you don't know this channel, I do not watch television, haven't watched it in a very long time. But I look at I'll see articles or whatever written about these shows and this and that, and I just see I read what it's about, and I just think of the people right now are their brain is just melting. It's just fried. The typical content. I'll see other, what's this popular YouTube channel? Maybe I can learn something from that and kind of take it in. And it's just like the stupidest stuff. So the attention is going towards the stupid stuff. So that's what people are into. And so they're into that. They like that. And so that's where I see wherever the attention goes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to really respond to it exactly, but you know, it's not good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that going to the university college is going to make people smarter. I just wish people would spend the time, young people, and all the way through adulthood, that they would spend their time learning stuff. Learning stuff's cool. I mean, I really think it's cool. Maybe I'm not cool, I guess. Do you think it would be wise to lock in a low rate at a 30-year mortgage to get my payments down? 100%. That's my opinion. I would say 100% yes. Is blockchain really a new technology? No, not based on my understanding. It's not, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just something that it's better than what the general systems are using today. Right now I have a 15-year. I would lock it in lowest interest rate I could find for the longest period of time. You might decide to pay your mortgage down sooner, but you want it locked and you want it long. When are you publishing your book? I have 2 books already available on Amazon. If you search for The Money GPS, you will find it. 2 books on there. Thank you for the support. Look at how publications of all kinds don't bother editing and vetting source material anymore. It's all media. They don't care. They really don't care. I think there's just a degradation of society in general. It's just words are just being compounded. Words are disappearing. I'm hearing young people. I mean, there's always the younger crowd is going to use whatever the hip slang is, but I think it's degrading in general. I just see it just degrading. So that's observing. So can you please do an interview with Minority Mindset? I've seen the channel before. I've put the interviews on hiatus due to the fact that the performance was so poor that it just didn't make sense. I tried to use it to vary the content, to hopefully bring a different perspective to the channel. Overwhelmingly negative feedback on it. So yeah, I would love to do more interviews, and I plan to do more interviews, by the way. So I will, but not at this time. But I will. So stay tuned for that. I will be here tomorrow, I believe. Yes. I'm going to be off a couple minutes. I'm just going to stay for a couple minutes, answer a few more questions. If anybody has any more questions, please answer them below. I'll try to get to them as quickly as I can. You mean my liberal arts degree won't feed my family and only fans isn't taking on new models? Yeah, you got to watch it with that. Awesome. Devin, thank you very much for the support. Some people care, right? Some people are wise. And if you're young and you already got that mindset, oh, awesome. It's going to be good. If I was real young and I had no money, there's no question what I would do right now. So I'm a person who has even if I'm not young, I wouldn't even think twice. Social media management. I would manage companies, social media, small companies. It's a dentist, it's a chiropractor, it's a lawyer. These people don't care, don't know how to do anything with social media. They don't understand Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and so on. But you make a quick contract with them and you say, look, we're going to work out creating content and it's going to post out there and we're going to make it hyper focused on your local environment if they sell to local. We're going to make all these things so that those people in your area, you could become the most popular real estate agent in your area by creating consistent content. And you could sell it to them like that. And they will trust you might think, oh, I'm 20 years old. They're not going to trust me. That guy who is 55 years old, who doesn't know and doesn't want to touch Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, They're going to look at a kid who's 20 and they're going to say, that kid knows exactly what he's talking about because he's always on his phone all day. So he's going to trust that 20-year-old more than he'll trust somebody who's 50 years old at social media. You see, this is the way. I mean, right now, people who are young, they have such an advantage. There are so many ways to make money. How do you think inflation will affect investments? I think that it will push up certain assets like commodities right now, as well as real assets over the period of time for now. I'm all in on NFTs. Oh my goodness. Hope it does well for you. Silver's going to skyrocket. I'm surprised it's so low for so long. The Amazon GPS, I've held off on it because struggling with niche products. Any idea tips? So Dom, in that course, I talked about different ways to find products. Okay. One of my products took me 40 hours to find. 40 hours of searching. So when you've been searching for, you're just scrolling on your phone, this and that, I can't find a product, 40 hours to find one. One I found in 10 hours. And that is like dedicated, no, I wasn't watching television at the same time. I wasn't out here at Starbucks. And I'm talking about nothing else but 40 hours over a period of several days looking for a product. You just got to keep clicking, click there. You go back to the Helium 10 software. If you're not using a software, honestly, much more difficult. I love the Helium 10 software. So from Helium 10, I branch out from there. So when I kind of go down a rabbit hole, don't find anything, I come back to the Helium 10 software, do another search, find some stuff, go down the rabbit hole, don't find anything, come back to Helium 10 over and over and over again. So what I talked about in that course, real key. You cannot become a great engineer without going to college. Yeah. So I think engineer, architect, you want your architect to have gone to a proper school and things, right? You hopefully would be in a building that is safe and secure and so on. But just some general things. What I'm saying is, just to clarify, I don't know if I don't think you were directing that towards me anyway, but what I'm saying is, you shouldn't just go to school as a post-secondary education as a default. I think that you should learn a skill. And that could be something like a programming skill. That could be a physical skill, like using your hands, whatever it is. But people should be aiming at learning a particular skill, even if they want to go to some school after, whatever. But they should be more, if everybody learned how to do a particular skill instead of learning, we want to make people well-rounded. Well, the school shouldn't be making people well-rounded. People should be doing that on their own because their social, family, all that stuff. NFTs, completely wild, very speculative. I like the technology that, for example, with like tickets to a show, I can verify that this is a legitimate ticket. It's not a counterfeit ticket. That's cool. The prices for little graphics and little 6 pixels on a screen people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. That's ridiculous. Will Bitcoin hit 100,000 this year? Tight. Very, very tight. Doesn't seem likely, but it might happen. Theta TV, I'm not exactly sure what that is. It's like a crypto or something, but I'm on Odyssey. So I'm on Odyssey as well. Love your channel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Should I pay my mortgage off? If you can get that mortgage, so it depends on where you are. If you're in the United States and you can get a 30-year mortgage, 25-year mortgage, one of these long mortgages, and you can lock it in for a long period of time, you could argue that you shouldn't pay it off because interest rates are so low. But at the same time, you want your debt paid off, right? But I would pay off all bad debt first. Maybe you could just do accelerated payments. So you're not paying it completely off, but you're trying to get down that principle. Because remember, when you look at what a house costs, I paid $1 million for this home. But when you add in the interest over the entire course of that mortgage, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of interest that you're paying. Odyssey is awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm on there. I'm on all, by the way, I'm on all podcast platforms. I am on Apple, Google, what's the other one? Spotify. You search me, I'm there. Okay. Depending on where you want to watch, I'm there. I try to get my stuff onto BitChute and Rumble. Their systems do not work. So that's why I used Odyssey. It automatically pulls all of it over. So it's nice and easy for me. 100K, you're talking about Bitcoin is a certainty by the end of the year. I don't know. Can it get to 100? As long as interest rate's low and there's still the speculative market happening, it's possible. Dom, thank you. You bought both of the books. Good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. Awesome. I appreciate that, of course, and I hope that like the Money GPS, the original book, was the book that I wish I had read at the beginning. Like if somebody just handed it to me and said, "Hey, idiot, read this." Okay, like I just wish somebody did that, but I didn't have that. Okay, I didn't have that structure. I didn't have people who knew stuff around me. Okay, that's just the way it is. People around me are interested in nonsense. Okay, so I did my own studying. I learned about this. I dug in economics texts, everything from day one, learned it on my own, figured it out. And so that's it. I just, but it's up to everybody what they want to do. Some people, they really just want to, find the next hot stock or whatever. I don't know. I don't think that's really wise, but anyway, that's beyond the point. When Bitcoin hits 75,000, FOMO will kick in fast and push it to 100K. That's not a good thing. You don't want that. You don't want things to go up straight. You want them to be nice and steady. Steady is stable. It will easily find support and can continue to go higher. You don't want, like, look what happened with Bitcoin. It went up to 65,000, went down to 30, and then it came back up, right? It would be nice if it was just nice and steady. Little bumps along the way. It would be much better. Hey, love your content, dude. It's helping a lot of people to be a little more careful about how they navigate the economy. You're doing a great service to a lot of people. Thank you very much for that. I'm just trying to do my best to bring the details. There's some cool stuff coming, okay? I'm going to take off right now. I'm going way over time. There's some real cool stuff coming. Watch this stuff that I got coming out. I'm so excited for it. I'm waiting for an email from somebody, and you will see some cool stuff. I promise you. So, and then once that has to come first. And the second thing I want to do is like a more scripted approach to the videos that I will do. Maybe not every day, but the occasional video on top of the daily news video, something else, something cool. So stay tuned for that. I got a lot of stuff coming, as you know, and I will be back tomorrow night. If everything works out, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be back for the Money GPS Live. So that's it. Take care.